a matter of great privilege for me personally and for all of us assembled here today that we have the very, very illustrious, accomplished and true son of the soil who has served this nation honorably for decades, the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankar ji, who is also the chairman of the Rajya Sabha and under whose leadership, under whose guidance, we are able to do policy making, law making, and ensure the strong wheels of democracy in the country work for the benefit of 1.4 billion Indians. Of course, Mr. Dhankar comes with a very rich legacy from the legal profession, one of the most accomplished and well-known legal luminaries the country has ever produced. And we are indeed very, very proud to have you, sir, amidst our midst. Shri Praful Pancheria, Honorable Minister, Government of Gujarat, Shri Aniket Talati, who with his ever-smiling, charming face can, I think, influence any of us to come at short notice anywhere in the country or across the world. And I say this because I have the privilege of probably inaugurating more chapters of the Institute across the globe than anybody else would have had. But truly, Aniket, under your leadership, you make us all proud of the good work the Institute is doing. And I'm sure as we entered the 75th year of our inception, this is a very crucial phase in the history of the Institute, and you will continue to give stewardship to this important era through which the Institute is growing. Shri Ranjit Kumar Agarwal ji, Vice President, Ms. Asma Mauki, President, International Federation of Accountants, Shri Dr. Debashish Mitra, again somebody with whom I've had a lot of work through the last year, and another person who had a right of refusal on me, right of first refusal on me. He could always call me at short notice, and I hope I was always there. Our Secretary, Dr. Jaykumar Batra, all the very distinguished members of the Council, all the very distinguished chartered accountants and other professionals who have joined for this probably first of its kind Global Professional Accountants Convention that is being hosted at one of the finest venues that India has, the Mahatma Mandir, truly embodying the message of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and providing India with a world-class facility to showcase the growing strength, the emerging India, new India that we have. Prime Minister Modi created this when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He has now taken convention centers to the next level with two new large offerings in New Delhi, the Bharat Mandapam and the Yashobhumi, two large exhibition and convention centers, which now offer an opportunity for all of us to do really big programs at scale in a world-class fashion. So we, as a nation, as both Mr. Agarwal and Mr. Talati were alluding, India is aspiring for much larger goals, for much larger outcomes as we work in the Amrit Kal with a sense of duty, with a collective commitment of 1.4 billion Indians, a commitment which includes shedding the colonial mindset, a commitment which reminds us of our rich heritage, rich traditions, our culture, our value systems, a commitment which talks about the unity and integrity of this country being maintained, and which also recognizes the growing strength of the Nari Shakti, women-led development. But if you recall the words of the Prime Minister on 15th August 2022, when the nation was celebrating 75 years of independence, along with the five commitments, he had added two important elements. One was the Nari Shakti I just alluded to. The other was Bhrashtachar Mukt Bharat, a corruption-free India. And I do believe all of us sitting in this room have the collective commitment, collective consciousness and desire to see India as an honest nation, as a nation where everything works in a transparent fashion, equal opportunity for all, and we can grow in this Amrit Kal, the next 25 years, to become a developed nation, a prosperous nation, where every child born in India gets equal opportunity, good opportunities to become a value creator, a value enhancer. And it is the can-do spirit of every Indian and the can-act spirit of every chartered accountant, the CA spirit, which will take us there, which will make India add at least $30 trillion to our economy, growing to become the third largest economy in the world in the next probably 3 years, at best 4 years, but becoming a $35 trillion economy when we celebrate 100 years of independence. All of us chartered accountants who truly represent a community, who represent a class of professionals very, very committed to contributing in this journey, will be achieving greater laurels in this period. And given the inputs that were given by Mr. Agarwal and Mr. Talati, the fact that we are an ever-evolving institute, our curriculum is continuously remaining up to date, is contemporary. You just alluded to artificial intelligence. We all will have to start appreciating and recognizing that in this changing world, we will have to change fast. We will have to be active change agents ourselves. So the chartered accountant, with a can-act spirit, with a commitment to act, with a commitment to accountability, with a commitment to high standards, will also have to evolve as the years pass, as the world moves forward. It's a tough exam. In fact, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie 12th Fail, in which they talk about the civil services examination. I suspect they have not tried to become chartered accountants. They would realize what a tough exam is like. And we don't even have coaching institutes which falsely project every topper as somebody who has come out of that coaching institute. Of course, we are taking action in the Consumer Affairs Ministry against such misleading advertisements now. But friends, today we have an opportunity, being the largest accounting body in the world, to envision a great future for this profession. You are calculating that we have 100,000 chartered accountants for possibly every $1 trillion of the GDP. I would look at it very differently. We are 400,000, but our strength is articulated in what Honorable Prime Minister said when he came to join us while we were celebrating 50 years, we were celebrating 70 years of the Institute. And I cannot help but repeat, since you have yourself provided us this book, and I was reminded of the words that Honorable Prime Minister had used on 1st July 2017, when the Prime Minister said, "Chartered accountants are like ambassadors of any country's economic affairs." He further went on to say, "Your signature is more powerful than that of a Prime Minister." Your signature is a testimony to the trust in truth. If you certify books of accounts, the government believes in that. The people of the country believe in that. And therefore, friends, I believe the chartered accountancy profession will have to think much beyond auditing, accounting, and certification. I don't know if many of you may not like this suggestion, but I envisage a day where we will be writing to the government to amend the Institute of Chartered Accountants Act and give us some more important functions, leaving that routine auditing and accounting to maybe somebody else. We have the capability, we have the competence, we have the study, we have the knowledge. It is for us to choose whether we are going to accept remaining in the situation, in the kind of work profile that we have done for the last 75 years, or we are going to look at evolving to the next level of this profession. In fact, the India value proposition today provides exciting opportunities, whether it's on the investment side, whether it's on manufacturing, whether it's on our global footprint in terms of international trade. India is growing and will continue to do so. We are the world's fastest growing large economy, expected in the next 30 years to continue to grow at this scorching pace when we will add this $30 trillion. We will remain a young country with an average age of under 30 years for the next 30 years. And therefore it is for all of us, ladies and gentlemen, in these unprecedented times, the VUCA times full of volatility, uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity, that we rethink our agenda, rethink our role in India's future. And I have no doubt that under the decisive leadership of Prime Minister Modi, as this country progresses, so will our profession, remaining abreast with what is happening across the world, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's life, who had said, and I quote, "The true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." And therefore, I would like to suggest for your kind consideration, particularly considering that I believe we need at least 1 million chartered accountants more in this country, at least 1 million more. But this cannot be the preserve of the cities of India. This cannot be limited to the tier 2, tier 3 towns of India. We will need to have this profession becoming more inclusive, reaching the remotest corners of the country. And I want to suggest, if we 400,000 chartered accountants and our firms were to collectively resolve that we will adopt at least one child from every one of the 600,000 villages in the country, one child at least, and the institute can open a portal, we can offer our services to adopt that child. I will be the first to register on that portal. And we not only adopt the child, we mentor him, we guide him, we support him, and help take this profession to the last man at the bottom of the pyramid, truly a testimony to a noble profession like ours, reaching out to the country, reaching out to our countrymen. And the very good work that the profession has been doing will only get further strengthened with this kind of an effort to make our profession more inclusive and involving sections of society who have hitherto never dreamt of becoming a chartered accountant. And I say this because I have a very live example of 3 weeks ago at Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. After finishing very high-level meetings, I was walking out of the hotel and suddenly a young boy comes and touches my feet. I thought it's a young boy, maybe from India, therefore a little over-enthusiastic. And he started hugging me. I was amazed. He said, I'm a chartered accountant. I've just graduated 2 years ago. I said, what are you doing? I'm doing a job. But these are my parents and my brother. And my father is a driver in Mumbai. I was very happy, very impressed. And then asked the father where he works, what he does. He says, sir, I work in a chartered accountant's firm. Every day I drive my boss to the office, and I thought I must make my son a chartered accountant. He says, I did everything under the sun that was in my power and motivated my child, who's today a chartered accountant. The other boy, incidentally, was an engineer. Look at the commitment of that chauffeur. And the chartered accountant had brought his parents traveling for the first time out of India as a grateful son. Now imagine if 400,000 of us could create one chartered accountant like this. Can you imagine kitne punya ka kaam hoga? The benevolence that you will be receiving for this good work. Just my humble suggestion. I had couple of more thoughts. I don't know, you'll think every time I come to your program, I'll end up giving you more and more work. But I believe we have 400,000 chartered accountants. 40,000 of them are abroad. My own understanding through my work doing free trade agreements or engaging with foreign countries is that the potential for our profession internationally is huge. And we can truly help bring more investment, more technology, great value to our country. Can we think in terms of looking outward, going global, making some of our companies more visible across the world? Maybe have more collaboration, partnerships, mergers, collaborations, combinations, and make world-class companies. We don't need to have only the top 4 in the world coming from other parts of the world. I think the Prime Minister had said we should have at least 4 Indian global companies also. Nothing against the big 4, by the way. I see some of the members sitting here. But we need to have 4 companies at least from India go global. And I would like this to be a takeaway from this global conference. Also, I have requested, Aniket, if we can have automatic membership of chartered accountants as soon as they pass their finals, so we really know those who are in industry, those who are in other professions, and can actually know how much is the contribution of CAs in the Indian economy. Because I do believe that going forward, our role, our work is going to expand manifold. We have a great opportunity. Let's not let that opportunity go by. My best wishes to this wonderful initiative of the ICAI, and I wish this conference all success. May God always be with all of you. I hope we all go back enriched with greater knowledge and greater aspirations to reach for the sky, or now even the sky is low, reach for the moon and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CA Piyush Goyal, for guiding us what direction should the profession take. And very happy to share, sir, that we've got one of the breakout sessions on the theme Emerging Avenues, and I'm sure that the galaxy of speakers will talk about areas beyond accountancy and auditing as well. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite the chief guest for the inaugural function of the first ever edition of GIoPAC, the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, for his inaugural address.